Hi! Today I'm going to be making some pizza. So the first thing you want to do with pizza is you want to get some yeast. I'm using two 7-gram sachets to make 3 pizzas here. You put the yeast in a little jug, add some sugar, just a sort of general sprinkling of sugar, and then add some sort of warm water. You probably want about 500 milliliters of water mixture for 3 pizzas. And you add a little bit of oil and then mix it all together so that it's fairly smooth. Then make a mountain with some flour. I'm using about half a kilo of flour, again for 3 pizzas. And I make a little well in the middle of my flour, and then I slowly mix in some of the liquid, pour some in, and then slowly mix it in from the sides with a fork. More and more coming in from the sides, as you can see me doing there. And slowly it starts to sort of come together a bit in the middle and becomes slightly more consistent, and then at some point you'll feel the fork isn't really doing enough and you need to use your hands, and it'll be really sticky at first and it'll be everywhere all over your hands, but as you sort of work it and work all the flour into the mixture and add more water, it'll start to come together into a ball, and as you sort of squeeze it and roll it around and push it about more and more, it'll become smoother and smoother, and slowly it'll become less sticky and it'll stop being stuck all over your hands, and it'll start being quite nice to handle. And you can see there it's becoming sort of stretchier and smoother, and now you can sort of properly knead it and just work it, fold it and stretch it. And if it feels a little bit too wet, you can just sort of add a bit more flour to dust it and just keep kneading it. I'm going to kneading it for about 20 minutes here, so it's quite a long time, and it'll get stretchier and stretchier as you do. So yeah, once you've been kneading it for about 20 minutes, it'll be really nice and stretchy. And you've got to make sure you use really strong, high protein flour, otherwise it won't be stretchy enough. Usually bread flour will work. And then, after you've kneaded it enough, just sort of stick it in a bowl, put some cling film over it, or a damp tea towel, and then leave it for about 40 minutes. Now, here I've left it for 40 minutes, take the cling film off, it's risen a reasonable amount, like it's probably twice the size it was before, and then I take it out of the bowl, and it's got a bit stickier, it's not as sort of smooth and nice as it was before, it's got a bit stickier, but I pull it out of the bowl, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something called knocking it back, which is where basically you knock out some of those air bubbles that have formed. You don't want to knead it for too long here, otherwise you'll lose all of your air bubbles. Just maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and just fold it a few times and give it a gentle knead. And once you've kneaded it for a couple of minutes, you're going to just put it back in the bowl and leave it for probably another 40 minutes, and it will rise again quite a lot. And so now I'm going to start my toppings. One of my toppings is going to be roasted peppers. So put the grill on and put the peppers in the grill, turning them as they blacken for maybe 20 minutes in total. And to make the base, the sort of red base sauce, you want to use lots and lots of tomato puree, and yeah, giving it a really good squeeze there, and a good amount of garlic. I'm using 4 cloves here, and that gives it really nice flavour. And then you want quite a lot of oil, sort of liberal amount of oil, and just mix that all together. Oh, and you can add a few mixed herbs, as I'm about to do in a second. And that will be a really nice, very simple sauce to go on the base of your pizza. It's just mixing it up, and it smells really, really good too. When the peppers are ready, you want to leave them to cool for a while, and once they're a bit cooler, you can peel the skins off and just sort of roughly slice them or tear them as you want. And now it's been another 40 minutes or so, and my dough has risen once more, and it's looking really nice. Now you want to knead it for just a minute or so that it's a nice consistency, and then you're ready to start tearing it into as many pieces as you need and making them into pizza shapes. I'm doing this straight onto some greaseproof paper, so I can just pop it straight in the oven once I've made it. I'm making 3 pizzas here, and as you can see, it takes a bit of effort to actually get the pizzas into a nice pizza shape. Like, I probably have to do it 3 or 4 times before I'm happy with it. It tears quite easily, but you know, a bit of practice, it's not that hard, and it's quite fun, if a little frustrating at times. But as you can see, I sort of eventually get it to where I want it to be. and I sort of finish out by flattening it onto the greaseproof paper itself. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to start putting the toppings on. So I'm starting with some of the red sauce. So I'm just going to spread that liberally over the top, as you can see there, looking good. And then I'm going to add some fresh mozzarella and just sort of cover the whole thing in slices of fresh mozzarella. And then add my roasted peppers, little slices of that. And they are really, really tasty. And that's something really good. And I'm also putting on some black and green olives. I've just cut them in half and stuck them on. And I'm tearing up some pepperoni as well and putting that on. So it's quite a well-toppinged pizza. And I've now put it in the oven for 10 minutes. I'm just taking it out. The one you can see there is the next one waiting to go in. I sort of did them in batches because my oven isn't huge. And because I've done it on the greaseproof paper, it just slides really easily off onto a plate. And you can see there, paper's gone a bit crispy. And here is the pizza. And it's pretty good. Like, the base is quite thin, quite crispy. I mean, if I was better, I could have made it thinner, but it's really tasty. Oops, dropped an olive. It's good. And here's the second one that I made, and also really tasty. It's great pizza.